Jonathan, talk to us about what triggered these comments from the IDF chief, because it seems to be quite precise, with Israel now identifying thousands of targets in Lebanon.
I think, again, we saw tensions rising between Israel and Hezbollah. Why? Due to things not happening on the land, but in the sea. Actually, the Karish gas rig settling in its place in northern Israel, in waters of northern Israel, but waters that Lebanon claim is a disputed area. There's a former dispute between the two countries along a certain parallel, and now Lebanon adding another area, and this gas rig is in that added disputed area, and we heard threats coming from Hezbollah towards Israel, saying that if Israel is acting in disputed waters, Hezbollah might act. This perhaps is what propelled the chief of staff to say to say what he said, and of course there are constant threats here and there being said by Israel, by Hezbollah. This specific comment by the chief of staff coming in a big conference of the Home Front Command. And in that conference, senior officials said that if a war breaks out between Israel and Hezbollah, then yes, the Israeli home front will suffer, but the Lebanese home front will suffer much, much more.
So how possible is this war? We know now the Israelis are preparing, but really how likely is it?
It's unlikely. No one wants it at the moment. Not Israel, not Hezbollah. Does that mean it's not going to happen? Absolutely not. If we look back at the history of the conflicts here between Israel and Hezbollah, between Israel and Hamas, they started according to some act that perhaps no one really thought that would bring a major war. But it did happen. I'm not sure that in 2006 Hezbollah had the intention of dragging Israel into a war when it carried out that operation, kidnapping the bodies of 2 soldiers and killing some others. Some actions that are taken, perhaps none of the sides would think that they would lead to a war, but it may happen. So yes, it may happen at any given moment, despite the fact that not Israel, not Hezbollah have an interest in a full-on war at the moment.
We'll certainly be monitoring all of those updates. I-24 News Defense Correspondent Jonathan Regev joining me live in studio. Thank you.
Thank you.